It begins without sirens, without a chase, without a face on the evening news. Instead, it begins with federal indictment, a missing man, and a question that refuses to go away. How does someone accused of helping launder more than $1 billion simply disappear? His name is Roman Semenov. According to U.S. prosecutors, Semenov is one of the alleged founders of Tornado Cash, a cryptocurrency mixing service that authorities say became one of the most powerful money laundering tools in the digital age. The charges are severe: conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to violate U.S. sanctions, and conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money services business. The scope is staggering. The implications are global, yet the man at the center of it all has not been arrested. And that is where this story truly begins. If you're wondering how a person connected to one of the largest alleged crypto laundering operations in history can still be free, you're not alone. Investigators, journalists, and crypto analysts have been asking the same question. Where's Roman Semenov? Why hasn't he been apprehended? And who, if anyone, helped him vanish? To understand why this case remains unresolved, you have to understand what Tornado Cash was designed to do. Cryptocurrency transactions are supposed to be transparent. Public ledgers record every movement of funds. Tornado Cash disrupted that transparency. It allowed users to deposit cryptocurrency into a pool and withdraw it later to a different address, breaking the visible link between sender and receiver. According to prosecutors, this feature wasn't a side effect. It was the core design. Authorities allege that Roman Semenov and his co-conspirators created Tornado Cash's essential features, paid for the infrastructure that kept it running, actively promoted the service, and earned millions of dollars from its operation. They argue this wasn't passive coding. It was active participation in a system designed to conceal criminal proceeds. Over time, Tornado Cash allegedly became the go-to tool for criminals who needed their money to disappear. Stolen funds, ransomware payments, fraud proceeds. According to the indictment, more than $1 billion in criminal proceeds passed through the service. But one detail pushed the case into an entirely different category. In April and May of 2022, U.S. authorities alleged that Tornado Cash was used by the Lazarus Group, reportedly a North Korean state-sponsored cybercrime organization, to launder hundreds of millions of dollars in hacking proceeds. This wasn't just financial crime anymore. This was sanctions evasion tied to a hostile foreign government. That moment changed everything. Shortly after, the U.S. Treasury sanctioned Tornado Cash. Law enforcement actions followed. One co-founder was arrested. Another faced charges. The net appeared to be closing, except Roman Semenov wasn't in it. When the indictment was unsealed, prosecutors stated that Semenov was at large, wanted, unapprehended, a federal warrant issued, yet no arrest followed, no location disclosed, no extradition announced. So why? One explanation is jurisdiction. Semenov is believed to be a Russian national. If he is inside Russia or another country without an extradition treaty with the United States, arresting him becomes nearly impossible. U.S. warrants don't cross borders on their own. They rely on cooperation. And geopolitics often decide who gets handed over and who doesn't. But is that the full story? Critics point out that Tornado Cash operated openly for years. Its creators spoke publicly. Code was maintained on GitHub. Conferences were attended. Promotions were posted. If authorities believed the service was criminal, why did it take so long to act? Was Semenov already preparing for the fallout long before the indictment became public? People who work in cryptocurrency understand surveillance in ways most people don't. They know how transactions are tracked, how identities are linked, and how quickly systems can turn hostile. If you help design a service to erase financial footprints, would you also understand how to erase your own? Investigators have not publicly said when Semenov became aware he was under scrutiny. But federal investigations are rarely sudden. They take months or years. Subpoenas are issued, data is collected, patterns are analyzed. If Semenov noticed unusual activity, frozen accounts, or inquiries into associates, he may have seen the storm coming. And then there are the questions no official statement answers. Did someone warn him? There is no evidence that anyone inside the FBI or any other agency assisted Semenov in evading arrest. None has been presented. But history shows that leaks, intentional or accidental, do happen. Information moves through lawyers, intermediaries, and networks of trust. Even a vague hint can be enough for someone to disappear. What about his inner circle? People rarely vanish alone. Travel requires documents. Living requires money. Staying hidden requires cooperation. Friends, family members, business partners, or ideological allies could have helped him relocate, shelter, or establish a new identity. Or perhaps he didn't need to hide at all. If Semenov resided in a country unwilling to cooperate with U.S. authorities, he may be living openly, protected not by secrecy, but by borders. That possibility is unsettling. It suggests that accountability in digital financial crime may depend less on guilt and more on geography. And then there is the deeper tension beneath this entire case. Is Roman Semenov a criminal architect? Or is he a developer caught in a legal gray zone that hardened overnight? Supporters of Tornado Cash argue it was a privacy tool. They compare it to encryption, VPNs, or physical cash. They say developers shouldn't be held responsible for how users abuse technology. Prosecutors counter that Semenov and his co-conspirators allegedly knew exactly who was using the service and continued operating it anyway, even after massive hacks and sanctions violations were publicly reported. That legal battle may shape the future of crypto regulation, but it can't happen until Semenov is in custody. Every day he remains free adds another layer to the mystery. Is law enforcement quietly tracking him, waiting for the right moment? Or has he slipped permanently beyond reach? Is this a failure of enforcement, or a preview of a future where financial criminals hide behind code and borders? Roman Semenov remains wanted. The charges remain active. The alleged laundering remains documented. But the man himself is missing, and that absence is the most disturbing part. Because if someone accused of helping launder money for cyber criminals and sanctioned state actors can simply disappear, what does that mean for the fight against digital crime? Who else is watching this case and learning from it? Was Roman Semenov smarter than the system? Or did the system never truly have a way to catch him? Until he is found, this case remains unresolved. And unresolved cases don't fade away. They linger. They warn. They ask uncomfortable questions. Where is Roman Semenov? Who helped him disappear? And if he's never arrested, will justice ever catch up to the architects of invisible crime? If stories like this matter to you, if unanswered questions keep you watching until the very end, this is a case you won't want to forget, because the silence surrounding Roman Semenov may be louder than any arrest ever could be.